Namaste everyone. Welcome to the second edition of this video where we are discussing about the influence of various planets either seated in the 10th house or owning the 10th house or aspecting the 10th house. In the last video, we covered from the Sun till Mercury, and today we'll be looking at the different planets. But then, before we go to the meat of the topic, kindly subscribe to the channel, like the content if you find it useful, and please share it with your friends and family if you think they can benefit from this knowledge. So, what if Jupiter owns the 10th house or sits in the 10th house or influences the 10th house by its aspects? So, first of all, 10th house is one of the best positions for Jupiter, okay, because this makes a person extremely disciplined and extremely good at making money. Okay, the person can be a teacher, mentor, lawyer, can be involved in some administrative positions, be a human rights activist, bring truth, knowledge, wisdom, and protection of rights and freedom for other people. Okay. And as for jurisprudence, if if according to Mars, it can be a person who disputes, a prosecutor or a lawyer who pulls out the truth. And according to Jupiter, it will make one a lawyer, lawyers involved in civil cases, and also people associated with the law but occupying high positions and high status in the society. Now, these people will never go over their heads, especially if Jupiter is strong. They will need everything to be right. They will need everything to be done with honesty and integrity. Okay. And they will always ensure that whatever actions they perform, they're always deliberate, never accidental, and they are always environmental friendly. Okay. And in case of such a person, it's not about creating a career, but rather a case of the career creating itself. And Jupiter always blesses such a person with good luck and success in professional activities. Okay. And Jupiter, as we all know, is the planet of expansion. And this can give the person a lot of disciples, followers, as well as people who will listen to them, as well as go to them for advice. And such people, they generously need to share their experience, their knowledge, as well as professional qualities with the world. And with Jupiter involved or influencing the 10th house, these people will be involved in building the economy, in the banking sector, in the field of money, because Jupiter is the karaka for finances. Okay. And it is worth remembering that Jupiter is a guru, a mentor. And even if a person is involved in the economy or the banking sector, this is certainly not going to be enough for that person. They will want to create a legacy. They'll want to leave something behind, to convey something, because Jupiter loves to teach. Jupiter loves to transfer knowledge and experience. So in order to feel fulfilled after having this position, is that you have to pass on your legacy to others. You have to teach people. Okay, because if you don't transfer your knowledge and you have this position, you will always be left feeling unfulfilled, no matter how much money you make in your career. Okay. And Jupiter also represents a planet that gives communication with people going beyond borders. Okay. So these people can be travelers, guides, preachers, people associated with positions involving foreigners and foreign states. I've seen people having 10th house Jupiter, or having, Sagittarius or Pisces in the 10th house, working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially Sagittarius more than Pisces. Okay. So these people are very good at managing foreign affairs. All right. What if Venus is seated in the 10th house, or Venus owns the 10th house, or Venus aspects the 10th house? So such a position will give a person pleasure from his or her activities. Okay. And this position implies a person who has come to enjoy work and, realize the value of long term, the value of working long term. Okay. And these people will be always associated with the beauty and fashion industry. It produces people who work with women or in the creative fields. It could be in the film industry or in any artistic field. And these people can be excellent fashion designers, people who work with beauty, fashion, and people who, I've also seen interior designers having this combination. Okay. Now, results will vary with the, with other planets in conjunction with Venus. For example, if there is a conjunction of Venus with Saturn in the 10th house, then it will be a combination of fashion with something old, maybe vintage style and so on. Okay. Venus, the presence of Venus in the 10th house can give, can make the person have romance at work. It can make one have a flirtatious nature when it comes to, handling colleagues. And it also gives a very intriguing personality. Okay, I've seen people having, 10th house Venus, they meet their partners at work. And for these people, all that matters is the pleasure that they get from working. Okay, so, if they are not working at a field that brings them pleasure, they will be left very, very unsatisfied, very, very unfulfilled. Okay. Now, Venus can also give activities related to luxury, because this, of course, is a planet of luxury. And, because, Venus gets Digbala in the 10th house, sorry, in the fourth house. So, the aspect of Venus from the 10th house on the fourth house indicates that the person can also be involved in work like real estate, family business, community business, and so on. Okay. So from 10th house, Venus will aspect the fourth house, and that this can, make the person land up in a workplace which is exclusively female dominated. Okay, or a workplace that is situated on a beautiful property. Okay, and such a person can become an excellent coach for females, psychologist, and even work with, esoteric fields like tantra. Okay. Now, if the 10th house is ruled by Taurus, then this will give a more mundane nature, which people would want to give, which people would want to share benefits with the world and receive something material. Okay, so these are people who will perform functions related to something important for the society with earthly goods. If the 10th house is ruled by Libra, then this can bring some kind of inconsistency in the career, and there is always a desire for compromise. Okay, so even if these people are working in a team, they will try to make compromise so that the work is done. Okay, it could be a compromised opinion or judgment. They will never allow conflicts at workplace. They will always be the peacemakers there. Okay, and these are the people who will always strive to create brilliance and beauty in their activities. They will often have a beautiful office with beautiful interior items. The office space will be filled with beautiful expensive paintings, something fashionable, beautiful, and something very exquisite. Okay, and such beautiful surroundings will eventually always end up nourishing them and give them a sense of pleasure. Okay, they will feel good in the office, and this person will never go ahead seek some positions. They will always try to be level headed, because Venus owns Libra, remember. And for them, everything in work should happen in pleasure and in a buzz. Okay, now what if the 10th house is ruled by Saturn? Saturn ruling the 10th house, or the presence of Saturn in the 10th house of the chart, can indicate that the work of such a person will be associated with something that is ancient and heavy. Okay, so the person can be related to mining enterprises and could work with minerals, like being an oil miner or an oil worker working in factories with land as well as agricultural work. And these are the people who are usually involved in hard work, can work a lot, and be very workaholic. Okay, and Saturn influencing the 10th house in any way produces very responsible people who take great responsibility, and will be in the habit of dragging their burden until they reach their goals. Okay, now if you have Saturn in the 10th house, or if you have Saturn influencing the 10th house, then it is important that you have some big important goal to motivate you. Something like, earning big money, or some position in the society, or some important mission that will be like a beacon in front of you. Okay, otherwise, if you don't, then you will simply dig in, load into the routine of activity, and that will not give you any sort of pleasure. Okay, it will cause burnout, and eventually you'll start devaluing everything. Okay, so Saturn is regarded as the slowest planet, so people whose 10th house is influenced by Saturn will not enter into a career realization very quickly. Okay, they will make they will do good in their career only in the second half of their lives, and they'll slowly move up the career ladder after facing several obstacles. Okay. And Saturn is a slow moving planet. So people whose 10th house is influenced by Saturn will be quickly overtaken by new employees who have come recently to work, because these people, they need to move slowly. They don't feel the need to strive quickly to reach some position. And whatever they want to achieve will usually be achieved in the second half of their lives. Okay. So Saturn is the karaka for work. It represents that, its presence in the 10th house represents that you have to work out something, work very hard, invest in your activities, and have a meaningful goal that would give significance to whatever activities you might be associated with. Okay. So remember that if you have Saturn influencing your 10th house, you'll achieve your ambitions and your heights, but not quickly. Okay. You'll always need to work. And the main thing here is not to be lazy, because laziness is going to be your main enemy. Okay. Now, if Saturn is afflicted, then for such a person, it will be difficult to lift himself or herself and force himself or herself to do something, because any effort, to progress in career would seem like a Herculean task. Okay. And now, if the Saturn is retrograde, then it means that the native needs to, needs a double sort of double motivation and a double requirement to generate energy to work. Okay. And Saturn is all about creating something valuable for the society, living a legacy, okay, by achieving a significant goal. All right. And to work with Saturn, the most important thing is to have a plan, okay, because Saturn loves everything. Saturn loves it when everything is clear for him. And, when people know about their ambitions and goals, they can strategically approach them and move. Okay. Saturn is also the karaka for spirituality. So, apart from being 100% involved in your work, it would be very beneficial if you read mantras, if you go on pilgrimages, in between, as by while taking a break and so on. Okay. So Saturn is regarded as the laziest planet, and if the person is not realized in this fear, then Saturn can give great resistance, can give a lot of internal resistance and laziness. I don't want to do this. It seems that I'm dragging myself to work every day. It seems I'm working hard at a job which I don't like. Okay. So if you have this position, you must definitely understand, realize why you are working for, what is the highest goal you're trying to achieve, what is the mission you're trying to achieve through your work. And when you do that, you will have a lot of energy and a desire to work. Okay. And again, results will be modified by the conjunctions of planets with Saturn. For example, say Saturn is in the 10th house with the sun, then it will impose a certain seal on the solar realization of a person, on his positions. So the person will want work positions to be significant, weighty, heavy, and mundane. Okay. And then such a person will strive for these positions for a long time. You know, the positions might elude them for a long time, and this can be really damaging to the ego, and there could be a feeling of insecurity. Okay. So as we all know, Saturn is the planet of maximum achievements, but it is also the planet of obstacles and resistance. And when you overcome these shortcomings, these obstacles, you will eventually become stronger. Okay. Now, the 10th house is also an Upachaya house. So it means it improves over the years, and Saturn improves over the years, and it becomes not so harmful, not so obstructive, because it is only through obstacles that a person acquires, hard willpower and can develop immunity to difficulties and obstacles. Okay. Now, if the 10th house is ruled by Aquarius, then also you can expect to see good results at work in the second half of life. But then Aquarius produces innovators, people who create something new, people who are involved with new technologies, new trends. Okay, they can be involved both in the space industry and modern technologies. And they would be associated in the creation of mechanisms or strategic approaches to something old, but from a new point of view. Okay. And now, if Capricorn is falling in the 10th house, then these people will be hard workers and workaholics who plow and systematically do everything, although sometimes they can dig into the little things. Okay, so if you have Saturn influencing the 10th house, then you need to understand that you can dig into the little things in your activities, drown in routine affairs, and therefore you must be someone who thinks more strategically, who has big ambitious goals, and who can plan all his or her activity from a distance or from a height. Okay, so what if Rahu is in the 10th house? So this will usually give a person endless ups and downs in his or her career. Okay, so it means that the the point here is that you must understand that your soul has come here to play work, and it will play in different ways, and it needs different options for self-realization. So you need to understand that, if you have Rahu in the 10th house, you can be a multi-machine, a multitasker who has come to explore various possibilities for manifesting and presenting yourself in the society. And at times, you might find yourself totally disinterested in work. At times, you might find himself completely immersed in work. Okay, so the idea is that you should try to realize yourself in different directions, because if you work in simply one direction, you'll always be left with a feeling of emptiness. Okay, and if you work in multiple directions, then of course you will be able to maneuver your way in this world. Okay, and these people, they usually are very creative. They have a lot of different approaches to get their work done. Okay, and if you are into a business, then it is important that you do multiple businesses, so that at least one works out if the other one goes down. Okay, so Rahu is the graha of expansion, and it will give unprecedented growth if you use its power correctly. Okay, for example, if you are into work, then ensure that you are using the latest technologies, like mass communication, internet marketing, everything that is connected with artificial intelligence, everything which is not natural. Okay, if you're into medicine, then see, what different medicines can you use to serve humanity. If you're working with the environment, then see how you can make others, how you can serve others by giving some benefit to the environment. Okay, so in short, you should, if you want to excel with Rahu in the 10th house, you should always have a non-standard approach whenever it comes to executing professional activities as well as professional responsibilities. Okay, what if you have Ketu in the 10th house of the horoscope? Then Ketu is Ketu has a fierce cutting energy, and because of this, Ketu will narrow the work area. And what it means is that you are a person who has worked very much hard in the past life and done a lot for society, and now needs to live for yourself. You need to create your family nest and create your community and clan. Okay, and these are the people who are no longer bothered to achieve career achievements, through effort. They don't need to prove anything to anyone, and they don't usually feel the need to work on their status. Okay, and it seems like the person already has work recognition or work appreciation already built into him and her. And these people, they don't need to take care of the reputation, because they already have a certain reputation. Okay, now, of course, if Ketu is conjunct with other planets, then you need to look at those planets and realize yourself according to their karakatvas and qualities. But if Ketu is standing alone, then you should not focus on building a career. You should focus on on building yourself through your work. Okay, so I've seen this in people's charts having Ketu in the 10th house. These people, they are very messy. Whenever they work, they will like to keep their table very messy. And most often than not, I've seen these people take up a lot of work than they can actually handle. Okay, and these are the people who can just work without any need for recognition. They can get paid, and that will be enough for them. Okay, and these people, they usually don't have any mission regarding their work. Okay, so it's important that if you have Ketu in the 10th house, you look at the Karakatvas of the 10th house, because Ketu, as I said, has a fierce cutting energy that separates you from the Jiva Karakas of that house and gives you the Ajiva Karakas. And satisfaction is one of the jiva karakas of the 10th house. So if you have Ketu in the 10th house, please look to work without receiving any kind of satisfaction. Ketu, I've seen, can also cause or give a lot of career breaks. So if you have Ketu in the 10th house, watch out for significant breaks in career that can shift the entire focus, the entire trajectory of a career into a different path altogether. Okay. So this is all about the planets in the 10th house and how they influence your work life, the field of your work. Please do let me know if you agree with my analysis. As always, please like the video, subscribe to this channel, share the video if you find it useful, and please leave behind your valuable comments in the feedback section. That's it from me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste. I'll see you soon in yet another video. Om Gurave Namaha.